We start off with an initial consultation. We talk about a lot of these things, kind of find out what your knowledge level is, where you're coming into this process, and we give you an overview of how the whole thing works, down payment, all these sort of affordability questions tend to come up. So that's kind of like step one. And then we talk a lot about you and what your expectations are. It's probably not good to spend up to the upper limit of what the bank will give you a loan for. So we want to find out about how this decision is going to affect your life. And then from there, the third step is we start making some specific maybe recommendations and strategies. Like, because you love being at the beach and it's one of the most important things to you, and because hot summers are not your favorite thing, it's worth it for you to maybe give up having a yard to get a condo, but be in a community that's within a couple miles of the ocean. That's a worthwhile trade for you. And we can start thinking of certain areas that might work for you and work for your commute. Maybe we know that because there's a toll road on-ramp or there's a Metrolink station nearby, that even though one community might be a little bit farther from you than you had hoped, the reality is your commute might actually be shorter because you can take the train. So we start to develop these specific strategies, and then we talk a little bit about the search process and how you work. And this is where we modify our process to work with you. Finding the right home is a collaborative effort. A lot of people come in thinking, I just want to be on my app and tell you the houses I want to go see. And that's great too, and we can work with that. Some other people say, I want you to just pick which houses I see. I trust your judgment. Tell us what we should be looking at. Most people fall somewhere in the middle of that process. So we can do things like, if we know there's a community that works, we can set up a standing search, or we can set up so you're notified when new properties come up in that area that meet your specifications. Or we can be a bit more individual, searching a broader area and only making specific recommendations. As I said, this is a bit of a collaborative process, so we want to work with you. And from there, we kind of do sort of a large search that narrows. So our first trip out to seeing homes is really about exploring what does your budget get you in different areas, different sizes and levels of completeness. The biggest thing that we find when working with clients is that sometimes things change. The things that you stated when we first sat down might have seemed like great ideas on paper, but once we start the home search process and you walk into the door of a home, sometimes your preferences can change. This is a journey, and we find we start with this kind of broad process and we gradually zero in and circle in and narrow it down. And then ultimately we find the right home that's perfect for you.